weren't making that much money. So generational wealth was coming from going to Russia every year. Now we have to come back home and get paid nothing?
If there was ever a question as to why Uncle KC hates this dump of a league, if there was ever a question as to why Uncle KC cannot stand pretend basketball, if there was ever a question as to why I constantly criticize the delusional, entitled players in the WNBA, Diana Taurasi, but my name is Diana.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Diana Taurasi just showed you why Uncle KC and millions of others have never supported the WNBA. You know, one of the many delusions in the dump known as the WNBA, it's that they're the only ones making sacrifices. They're the only ones not getting paid what they believe they deserve. Instead of providing value, instead of proving their worth, WNBA players would rather whine and complain about it. Like their brother in failure, Bomani Jones, WNBA players would rather blame everyone else for their decades of huge embarrassing failure. One of my good friends, he is a successful business owner. If you look at his life today, deacons at Woke United Methodist, they would describe it as a life of privilege. But there ain't nothing privileged about his financial status. There was nothing given to him. Everything he has is earned. While the rest of us were in college making lifelong memories and wasting time in the classroom learning about the mating process of ladybugs, he was out on the road working. Like disgruntled players in the WNBA, he had to leave home and, in some cases, he had to leave the country to make the money that he wanted to make. I used to tell him all the time, dude, you have the rest of your life to work. We only get to be 18 once. This is the only time in our lives where we can be out of control, and it's kind of expected. We're adults without responsibility. We only have a handful of years to enjoy this. And you're wasting those years on the road chasing a dollar. He sacrificed his youth. He sacrificed his late teens, early 20s to achieve the goals that he had set for himself. And not one time did he complain about it. Not one time did he organize a protest at work demanding to be given money that he hadn't earned. Not one time did he complain about having to travel the world to make the money that he wanted to make. When he returned home a decade later, he was ready to party. Problem was, the party was over. Everyone had grown up. Everyone had moved on. Every day in this country, millions of people make sacrifices. Millions of people go to jobs they hate. Millions of people believe they're underpaid. Some are working 2 or 3 jobs just to afford a shitty apartment that was half the price just 4 years ago. They do it to feed their kids. They do it to give their kids a better life. And they sacrifice without complaint. So, how come WNBA players seem to be the only ones constantly complaining about it? How come WNBA players seem to be the only ones who think they're owed something? Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Chapter. One thing most people don't realize until it's too late, dealing with Medicare can be an overwhelming experience. There are countless plans, rules, penalties. Calling the government for help? Good luck with that. Fortunately, though, there is help available, and that's where Chapter steps in. Chapter is an advocate for seniors to help you choose the right plan for your needs. Chapter is completely independent, which means they're only incentivized to find the right plan for you. Uncle KC actually tested their services. My mom turned 65 back in January. Now, both of my parents, they already had insurance plans, but I had her call Chapter anyway. Long story short, Chapter told my parents that they already had the best plan available. There was no need for them to change. Chapter actually found a plan that would save them a couple of $100 every month. However, Chapter explained to my parents that their current plan would save them more money in the long run. So, since they can afford it monthly, Chapter advised my parents to keep their current plan. Now, telling my parents to keep their current plan, that was of no financial benefit to Chapter, but that's the kind of honest service they provide. Look at it like this. If you were wrongfully sued, you're not going to go to court without a lawyer, right? So why would you deal with the hassle, the confusion of Medicare without an advisor? Even if you already have coverage, Chapter might be able to find you a better plan. You literally have nothing to lose. It's free. So call today. 510-279-3616. Have Chapter find the right plan for you. If you're a member of Amazon Prime, I've got some exciting news for you. That $10 or $20 you pay every month, it doesn't just give you free shipping when you order your life-size poster of Lizzo, which used to be the size of the living room, but now it's shrunk to the size of the master bedroom. Along with free shipping, your monthly subscription to Amazon Prime, it also gives you exclusive access to their latest documentary, Taurasi. This fascinating documentary, it was produced by Meadowlark Media, the production company owned by Dan Le Batard. Barf! The three-part series, it follows the life and career of Diana Taurasi. Double barf! How in the hell can you fill 3 episodes on the career of a WNBA player? I could probably summarize her career in 3 minutes. Donna was born in Glendale in the People's Republic of California. She received a scholarship to UConn, where Gino Auriemma made her a huge star. In 2004, she was the first pick in the WNBA draft. Unfortunately, not much is known about Donna after her successful career at UConn. She entered the WNBA dump, where she continued the decades-long tradition of anonymity. The WNBA, the place where basketball careers, real or pretend, go to die. All kidding aside, Diana Taurasi, she had a phenomenal career in the WNBA. The media calls it legendary, which I think is a bit of a stretch. On paper, Donna had a legendary career, but is it really legendary if no one was there to see it? Like most WNBA players not named Caitlin Clark or Sophie Cunningham, Diana Taurasi is better known for her complaints off the court than anything she accomplished on the court. In 2020, Donna claimed it was her proudest year in the WNBA. Why? Well, she didn't make the All-Star team. She damn sure didn't win the WNBA Finals, securing off-season access to the Golden Toilet. According to Diana, 2020 was her proudest year in the WNBA because she fought the good fight. She preached the good word and combated mythical racism. 2020 was a busy year for Donna. She also spent the year fighting mythical misogyny. NBA role player Marcus Morris, he claimed that Jay Crowder had feminine tendencies. According to Donna, a toxically masculine male referring to another male as feminine is deeply painful and misogynistic. Which is kind of strange because some players in the WNBA, they take it as a compliment when you refer to them as masculine. Yesterday, a teaser was released of this exciting documentary on the legendary but unseen career of Diana Taurasi. Take a guess. Just take a wild guess as to what they chose to focus on in this teaser. Casey, I bet they addressed the mythical racism that's plagued the WNBA for decades. Nope. Did they talk about the dildos that generous fans are donating to WNBA players recently? No, and I don't think the battery-powered devices are being donated. Matter of fact, some WNBA players seem to be afraid of them. In a 3-part series where I assume each episode is close to an hour long, which means in about 3 hours of content, the clip they selected for the teaser, it was based on Diana Taurasi complaining about money, or as WNBA players prefer to call it, pesos. Watch for yourself.
I have to go to a communist country to get paid like a capitalist. We weren't making that much money, so generational wealth was coming from going to Russia every year. Now we have to come back home and get paid nothing? The fucking janitor at the arena made more than me.
First of all, her comment about the janitor was absolutely disgusting. You know why the janitor is making more money than you? He provides more value. I would much rather have clean toilets and empty trash cans than be forced to watch unentertaining players who can't dunk a miniature basketball. How entitled can you be? How out of touch can you be? This is exactly what I was talking about earlier in the video. You think janitors dreamed about collecting trash when they were kids? You think it was their lifelong dream to be pooper scoopers? No, that dream belongs to Sherry Swoops, the original pooper swooper in the WNBA dump. But people working as janitors, they're not doing it for themselves. Most of them are doing it for their families. I appreciate janitors a hell of a lot more than I appreciate these entitled brats in the WNBA. But believe it or not, there is part of me that wants to feel bad for some WNBA players. Sophie Cunningham is making $100,000 this season. Do I think Sophie Cunningham is underpaid based on the value she provides? Yes. Caitlin Clark, damn sure underpaid. Angel Reese is underpaid. She doesn't provide as much value on the court because missed layups don't translate to selling tickets and winning games. But Angel Reese is valuable to the WNBA because she generates interest. You can't put a price on free promotion, and Angel Reese, she knows how to generate headlines, which is a skill. But the problem for WNBA players as a collective, there are far more players who are unlikable than players who are likable. Not to mention the fact that WNBA players are asking for too much. Plus, they're constantly complaining about mythical racism, complaining about misogyny, complaints about media coverage or the lack thereof. Remember when WNBA players were complaining because the NBA received more media coverage than their unmonetizable turd? Complaints about accommodations, complaints about commercial airfare, complaints about practice facilities. This is not a professional basketball league. It's a league of professional victims. And it's just hard to support people like that. It's hard to support people who are constantly complaining about what they're owed. You aren't owed shit. There is not a doubt in my mind that WNBA players work hard, but hard work doesn't always pay off. LeBron James makes significantly more money than Jose Alvarado. Why? Because people buy tickets to see LeBron James. Is it equitable? No, but it's reality. There is no such thing as equity in business. You're paid based on your value. And the truth is, the vast majority, the overwhelming majority of players in the WNBA, they're not providing value. Napheesa Collier is supposedly one of the faces of the league. Last I checked, she was the favorite to win MVP this season. She might be the most valuable player on the court, but it doesn't mean she's providing financial value. The Minnesota Linkers, they fill the Target Center to half capacity. Does that sound like a player worth $1 million a year to you? But KC, the WNBA landed a new TV deal. It's worth $200 million. No. The NBA donated an additional $200 million to the WNBA. But let's just assume for a second that the WNBA earned that TV deal. In their defense, they are performing better on television. If the average salary in the WNBA increases to $1 million a year, that means $160 million will be set aside for player salaries. Not to mention coaches, trainers, staff, chartered flights. WNBA players are also demanding improved facilities. Do you see how fast the money can be spent? Diana Taurasi perfectly illustrated one of the biggest problems in this dump of a league. It's a league filled with players, not all of them, but it's a league filled with enough players that are incredibly difficult to like and support. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.